After more than 20 years, the Longmeadow Democratic Town Committee is in need of new leadership. Candy Glazer, its longtime chairwoman and a power player in regional Democratic politics, has stepped down. Is she done with politics? Or perhaps clearing her agenda to help the Dems ahead of the 2020 presidential election? She shared her plans with me in the studio.
I'm just kind of stepping aside. This has been a lifelong thing. I'm very honored because I'm going to actually have the title of Chair Emeritus, and I take that very seriously. A nice honorary title. No, not at all. This was a good time after 25 years to have new leadership in the LDTC, along with the Democratic Town Committee, but my interest in politics will go on. I'm very, very proud. I'm going to stay on the Democratic State Committee that I've been for 20 years. I'm very also proud to stay on as the chair of Senator Lesser's committee, and I certainly plan to do all I can to make sure we have a Democratic president in 2020.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned 2020
Yes.
Because when I heard that you were stepping down as chair, I thought, oh, she has someone in mind for 2020 in the Democratic field that she really wants to put her support behind. Do you?
Yes, I do. Actually, I'm supporting Senator Warren.
You are?
Yes, I am. I really admire her. She's I think she's been an outstanding senator and leader, and one of the few voices we've heard in the last 2 years, particularly, to speak up against administration. But I have another example of all of the wonderful experiences I've had and being a Democratic chair. She actually had called me when she was thinking of running for Senate, and I met with her, reached out with her, and I have a long friendship, and politically I am. But that's just one aspect. I've been involved in national campaigns before. I was on the National Committee for Senator Kerry, for John Kerry's campaign, early supporter of Barack Obama.
Going back many years. I think you were 12 when you got first interested in politics, right? With the Kennedys.
You're right. I was quite young. Now this goes way back that far. I wish I was even younger. But yes, I first volunteered for Senator Ted Kennedy's first campaign. I grew up outside of Boston. And it was just a very exciting time, the early 60s. And yes, I've had such a wonderful experience. I've met so many people, and glad that I've met so many good people, encouraged so many people, and part of the campaigns who went on to be such outstanding leaders.
Just circling back to 2020 really quickly, why do you feel so passionate about Senator Warren? Why not wait to see who else from the Democratic field might step up and seek the nomination?
I just know Senator Warren very well. As I said, I've admired her. I like her new slogan, or she's persisted. And I've learned in politics also, if you're going to support someone, don't be shy, don't be coy. I'd like to be there on the ground level with her. I had the honor of, I've actually been here in your studio a couple times with her debates as recently as, and of course the famous Jim Madigan debate that I think turned it around. And I just think I'm going to be supporting her. I'm sure we have wonderful other Democratic candidates, but I'm on Team Warren for sure.
Looking at the Longmeadow Democratic Town Committee, LDTC, as you called it. Exactly, no, that's fine. The history of politics in Longmeadow is very interesting because for a very long time, it was a Republican stronghold.
And that's what I think.
So what did you do differently?
Well, I wish I had a key for success to tell other chairs, although I have met with other chairs. When I moved to town in the late 70s, and it was a very Republican town. And I was very active always in my whole life in Democratic politics. And as I say, came of age in the 60s, which was such a political time, very active in the civil rights movement, anti-war movement. I just got very involved in this organization, the LDTC, moved quickly up the ranks. But ever since I've been the chair, and before that I was the vice chair, so for the last 25 years, really tried to make an effort to make it a worthwhile organization. It was the center of political activity. We encourage people. I'm a big believer, Carrie, in that politics and activism and political success starts at the ground level and goes up, whether the other way. So we made sure we encouraged people to run for office, to get appointed to office.
And so that's something that you did purposefully, because I think about it in Representative Ashe, Senator Lesser, even Michael Clark, who is now on Senator Lesser's staff, but he was on the school committee, he ran for selectmen.
Yes, we really,
all these people you touched.
Thank you. It's important to mentor people, but I've always encouraged everybody. And I have people right now currently serving on the Longmeadow School Committee, the Longmeadow Select Board. I've had people you don't have to run. I have people on town-appointed offices. And when we have good candidates and when people part of our membership, we have monthly meetings, so we always made sure it was worthwhile for people to come. We're a source of information. I was always saying people, just get involved in some level, you don't have to run. But when we did have a good candidate, as I said, I met Eric Glazer. He was a teenager in high school and started coming to my meetings. This goes way back. When Brian Ash first decided, we had never been a Democrat in the Longmeadow Select Board, so we worked very hard. But candidates know that the LDTC and Longmeadow Democrats will help them, support them. We work hard for them, and it's a source for us. And now it went on beyond statewide candidates know we're out here, and that's the pride that I really have. What great thing to mentor someone, to encourage them, and to see them go on and be such great leaders. Yeah, I'm very proud.
And you touched on this a minute ago, but you've not only been active, very active locally, a member of the Democratic Convention for, I think, nearly 30 years. You've attended those.
I've been involved in national conventions for the last 7 years. I've been involved in many, many states. I've been to the last 30 Democratic state conventions.
So of those, either state or national conventions, is there one real standout moment for you that really sticks with you?
Well, I've had so many, to be honest with you. As I said, I was very, very close to John Kerry and very involved in his campaign, and that was a very special time because I was also a delegate, and I also got to meet Barack Obama the night before he gave his keynote address and was right in the front row when he gave that. That was great. In 08, yes. Yeah. Yes, that was great. And then, actually he spoke at the convention, it was 2004 for Kerry, but I've been a delegate for him. That was really great. Historic, being at President Obama's inauguration was great. But I also, a personal thing was I was selected by the Democratic Party in Massachusetts to be an elector. So I was an elector. I'm actually the Honorable Candy Glazer.
From Western Massachusetts.
Yes, that's what meant so special.
And it's such a small group, 11 people, right?
Yes, we're selected by the party, and it's particularly because I had also been very involved in President Obama's campaign. That was special meaning for me as well, so that was great.
Is this stuff, the work of politics, the lawmaking that's meant to affect change, do you think that it's as effective now as it was maybe 30, 40 years ago?
I think it does. I think certainly I think, well, campaigns have changed a lot. This with social media and all that. I'm still a big believer, though. Old-fashioned politics, I'm really grassroots activist, and I think by getting people involved, I still do canvassing. We've had candidates, we've had U.S. senators out with us. So Mark, and I just think that's really great. I think, unfortunately, in the last 2 years, it's become a very cynical time with the current president, and I'm really proud and glad that I think the Longmeadow Democratic Town Committee and other chairs as well, I don't take that, we've been a great source of people, how to sort of unite people, talk to them, let's go back to the issues. If there's some issue you're important in, let's stay involved. And I've kind of been saying the last few years, don't agonize, let's organize. And I think we've done that. And if I played that kind of role, I've been happy in doing that as well.
Do you think that that's part of what's helped with the staying power of Longmeadow's committee? Because we've seen other town committees either shrink or disband completely in the region.
Yes, I think so. And also, we're just a very big umbrella. Everybody's welcome. At every one of my meetings, everything I sent out, we have people who don't live in Longmeadow. I think half my associate members don't live in Longmeadow as well. Not all, because some of the towns aren't as organized. Everyone's welcome. And as I say, every single meeting, we meet once a month. There is a organizing fact. We have time. Would anybody else like to make an announcement? Is anything else you want to share? There's a speaker or an issue. And we do things from as locally as have very local candidates there to, as I said, we've had everyone. I'm particularly also proud, just to sneak in, we also have been sponsoring every year Candidates Night, particularly for statewide candidates, and we've had the last couple statewide candidates. We went through, as you know, a very aggressive, but Maura Healey came to one of our candidates' nights. This was her very first political event ever, and it was great because on a primary night, and that was a very hard-fought surprise victory, and I was so thrilled because in her victory speech, she said, this campaign started in Longmeadow and to the convention and won. So I'm glad that we've known like that for state candidates, and we've roomed and just give people the opportunity.
One more question for you about the overall state of Democratic politics. It seems that there's a bit of a divide among Democrats. There's the progressives and the more traditional Democrats. And you were there in 2016 when Hillary Clinton was tapped for the nomination. Bernie Sanders supporters were quite upset at what happened between the Democratic National Committee level.
Oh, I was there.
Do you think that rift has been healed?
I hope so. I think so. And I think the Democratic National Committee has made some changes in this upcoming campaign as far as there won't be as many superdelegates. They've already laid out their schedule of debates and all. Yeah, that's an issue, but in a way, the Democratic Party, we're a big party with a big umbrella, And I think we've learned the lesson, and I think everybody does feel welcome, and I think you're going to see a wide array of candidates. And I think it's actually a really exciting time. I'm really looking forward to this campaign and this election, with the election of so many young, wonderful, progressive women in Congress. I was in Washington last week for Congressman Neal's swearing in and for Senator Warren's. What an exciting time.